All right. Hello and welcome to your channel, Clear Waters. We are experts in technical difficulties, creating them, not fixing them. A joke. Tonight, we're gonna try to find out why among all these made-up gods, there's one that is real. How? I was able someone to determine that one in particular, Yahweh, that one is real. The other thousands of gods are fake, but this is my God. I chose him. This is the real one. I know because I know. So, I was thinking about doing a really nice presentation about this topic because I think it's important. About the craziness, madness about believing in gods, this problem that we humans have of not understanding something and then we think that is done by a god. This is more having to do with lack of knowledge. Some other people call it a little bit of less intelligence, a little bit of ignorance. Some other people describe it as having emotional problems to the level that you have to create imaginary friends. It's a problem for humanity. But in my view, I understand that when we have problems in our life, man, we have to hang on to anything we can in order to hang in there in life. So if you tell me that you believe that Yahweh is the real God and that's what you believe, I'll respect it. Don't come to me telling me that Yahweh is real. Then we're gonna have problems. Let me turn on the fan. Hold on. So I was a person, a human being, able to determine that from all these thousands of gods that other people believe at one time that these gods were real, I was able to determine that Yahweh is the real one. That one. You know, all those thousands of gods, I know that one is real because he has a book. You see? I was able to figure it out. And also, it makes me feel good. The God protects me. The God gives me guidance. The God gives me the love. And of course, he's not gonna hurt me. He's not gonna send me to that place that he made, especially for us humans, to be tortured for eternity. Because he is my God, my friend, the most powerful being in the universe. And Yahweh, I know that is real. How do I know, you might ask? I know because I know, and you know it too. How do I know that? Because I know it. You see? When you believe in Yahweh, you know things that other people don't know. I can know what you're thinking. You see? You see how this works? So, what could be happening in the minds and hearts of people that believe in these invisible beings? I don't know. It seems to me that I'm seeing a pattern between believers in invisible beings. Feelings. That is the common pattern between the different thousands of different denominations, of different religions, different forms of Christianity. This thing about believing in God is such a humongous problem that people, I don't know, they cannot, even myself, having a problem to grasp the magnitude of the problem of believing in invisible beings. People not only believe in Yahweh as an invisible being, they believe in Allah, Oludumare, Odin, demons, spirits, of course, Satan. It seems to me that whoever decides to believe that Yahweh among thousands of made-up gods, they know that Yahweh is the real one. Not only because I know, but because of the 500 witnesses. And because I know my Lord is up there watching us and He's gonna judge us. I felt like preaching for a moment there, but no, I'm not falling for that one. I'm not going back to pretending that Yahweh is real. I'm not going back to pretend that the God of Israel is real. That is their God. I don't live in Israel. I'm not from Israel. So apart from not believing and engaging in the problematic acts of believing in invisible gods, I don't believe in the God of Israel, because this is the God of Israel. I mentioned yesterday that people thought that the God of Israel was outside of time and space, but no, He is in Israel. So we were mistaken. So whenever you say that God is real, remember, be respectful to your God and write the words, God of Israel is real. If you live in the United States, I don't know, maybe do some shopping around. Maybe you find a God from the United States closer to where you live, or in Spain or Argentina or UK, I don't know. But what in the world are you thinking that you're gonna worship the God from another country when God made this covenant with His people, which you are not His people? You are maybe a wannabe from Israel. You want to be from Israel? Do you? Maybe you can join Diva and Ted Cruz in giving everything you got to another nation. Very problematic. This is what happens when you get in this witchcraft thinking that you want to believe that some invisible entities are real. Man, some people are watching you from a little bit of far away and they go like, he's out of his mind. Stay away. No, but I want to save you. I feel bad. I don't want you to go to hell. I want to save you. Yes, I know you want to save me from God. No, from Satan. No. Remember, I don't play the salvation game. God is your savior and He's your punisher. I'm not falling for that rap. Something is wrong with you. We gotta find out what's going on. Maybe you need some imaginary friend. If, again, I say this again, if you tell me that you believe that this God, Yahweh, among these thousands of gods is real, I keep it quiet. But don't try to take it to government, to schools, your beliefs. No. Then I'm going to say something, and most people around this world are going to say something. I know there's people joining on the live stream on the Discord. Once I'm done with this presentation, I'll be opening the lines to receive calls and anybody that wants to chat also. So let's ask a question. Through history, humans have worshipped thousands of gods. Thousands and thousands of gods. What did you say? You didn't know this? Ooh, sorry to break it to you like that. Yeah. Humanity is always making gods up. This is culture, especially in Israel, in thousands of years ago. This was normal. I heard some noise. I think that's the God of noises. Yes, I'm going to create a religion and try to make some money. Someone heard thunder. What was that? I don't know, but we can use it for war. You know, if we're in war and someone hears that, we tell them that's our God that is protecting us. And if you don't do what we tell you to do, our God is going to punish you. Yeah, through history, humans have worshipped thousands of gods. So here's my question. What makes Yahweh different? Please refrain yourself from telling me, I know because I know. I mean, if you want to say that because you want to feel good, I'll play along, okay? Yes, yes, you know. That's fine. You know. No problem. I'll play along. Hopefully this audio is okay. I'm going to put my mouth closer to the microphone. So I'm going to show you just a few of these made-up gods that have been created and made up over time. Remember, thousands, okay? Ra, apparently something to do with the sun. Zeus, sky. Thor, the god of thunder. Baal, storms. Asherah, the mother goddess. El, this is the chief honcho. Apparently, this was the big one, the boss. Odin, god of wisdom. Marduk, all these made-up gods, okay? Babylon's chief god, Marduk. Yahweh also. Oh, no. Sorry, my bad. Yahweh is the real God. This is not made up. Yahweh is not the made-up God. This is the real one, okay? Got Moses, remember? Yep. So, that's how we distinguish which God is the real one among the thousands and thousands of fake gods through the years. In the year 2026 is not over because people continue to worship fake man-made God. Repeat after me. Man-made God. Yes. So, one more question for you, believer in invisible entities. What historical or philosophical reason should convince someone that Yahweh is fundamentally different from every other God humans have worship? I have heard them all of them. Jesus, that's how I know that Yahweh is the real one, because there are 500 witnesses and I believe them. Yep, I believe them. I don't know their names, I don't know who they are, but I believe them. Also, Jesus resurrected 3 days later. I was not there, but I know he did. I know because I know. That is my question for you, but of course, for anybody that is involved emotionally attached to the idea of a loving God that is real. Remember those words, real. If you're emotionally attached to this idea of a God, you're not thinking very well. That's why I tell people I'm not really interested in engaging in debate, because if a God is real, we should not be debating about it, right? Just the fact that we would be debating about if God is real or not, I think is very telling. Oh, Javier, you don't understand. You don't understand stinky waters. God is outside of time. You're trying to understand God with your mundane mind. Yes, but you seem to understand God's love very well. That's a coincidence. And you perfectly know that He's real. You know that Yahweh, the God of Israel, must be real because the universe could not come by itself. And in that thought, as a reminder, whenever you say that, you are incorrect, because the real God, creator of the universe, is Chulum, not the God mentioned in the book that you pay $53 or $35. I don't know. So just as a reminder, yeah, you didn't know? Chulum is the creator of the universe, not Yahweh. Yahweh probably is the creator of Israel. Remember, his people, which you are not his people. Remember that. So this is my very short presentation about this problematic of believing in God in the year 2026, the era of technology and advanced technological findings, the era of AI. People still dance around and invoke the spirits to come invoking the God. Which God? The real one, Yahweh. You know, it seems that probably to you, believer in an invisible being, it might seem to you that I'm making fun of this. I'm not. I think this is a serious matter. I think humanity is being taken down the toilet with a holy flush. If you believe in an invisible entity, it is my opinion and my belief, which I could be wrong, that you are contributing to a problem in this world. You're not making it better by adapting doctrines from other group of people from other countries. Not good for you, not good for your family, and especially not good for your country, especially if you live outside Israel. There's a big difference between having conversations, analyzing different approaches to life, maybe try to explain what's going on, where we come from, where we're going to go. Try to use our critical thinking, but no, you want to worship Allah, or you want to worship the God of Israel. Being stuck in time is not good for humanity. You seal your mind. You're not going to learn anything outside what other people are telling you through the book. That's it. That's how far you're going to go in this life. No more learning for you. No more expanding. No more discovery for you. Just get on your knees and wait until we die. That's it. And hope that God does the special favor to save you. How sad. Very sad. From all the live streams that I have made, I started asking on every live stream, hey, if you have some information that leads to a God, please don't be selfish and share it with me and share it with other people, because some people are in need of something. People tell me, well, Javier, the God of Israel is real. How do you know that? Can you please provide any evidence? Yes, the 500 witnesses, the archaeological findings. Man, we're talking about a God. The book says it, Javier, the book. Let's look at the chats and let's open the lines. Let's hit that switch. We have a Dr. Dre. The Discord, you're the trusted. Hold on. How's it going, Dre?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Trying to bring some sense to this humanity. What have you been doing?
I haven't seen you for a while. Or it's been a minute. I've been working and I was traveling, a couple different trips, and yeah, that's about it, man.
Oh, still flying in the
Sorry,
helicopter?
I've been absent.
You still flying in the helicopter?
Oh yeah, brother.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, man. What's new with you?
Do you have any questions, Dre, about the title of this live stream? A long list of made-up gods except Yahweh?
Do you have any questions about it? No,
Yeah,
not
or you want to say
particularly.
something?
Well, you know, in regard to, your last comment you made just a few moments before you opened the lineup, in regard to if there's any sort of, secret information that anybody's withholding. Obviously it's not a secret. We've talked about this before, but again, I always fall back on fasting and prayer, as a means of connecting with God. And especially, I think it would be incredibly powerful for somebody that does not, like yourself, believe for there to be a higher power. I think it would be absolutely worth your time, worth your effort, and worth, at the very least, testing of a method, if you will.
Right, if there
And
are thousands and thousands of gods, I mean, this was culture back thousands years ago, those area around Israel. How did you come up to the conclusion that Yahweh was the real one among thousands of man-made gods?
how did I come to the conclusion of that?
That this one is the real
Well,
one.
sure, out of the thousands of real gods.
Um,
Yeah.
no,
Well, real
thousands of
quick before we jump to
man-made
that, I do want
gods.
to answer that question. Right. Sure. I want to answer your question. But in regard to, I think, from a standpoint of, you're at a place where, okay, which God do you pick? How do you know that it's the right God? How do you know
Mhm.
it's XYZ, XYZ? Well, again, I think, first of all, if you're on that fence line of there's none of them exist whatsoever, right? Which is, am I right? Is that that's your stance, right, Javier? That there
Do-
is no God?
yeah, no. Do you believe that these gods were real, or do you think they were man-made? Ra,
Well,
Zeus, Thor, Baal, Asherah, El, Odin, Marduk,
sure,
and
yeah. I mean, do I believe that there was power that there was power there? Yes, but the question is, where was that power coming from, right? And
that,
so
that would not be
I
the
do
question.
believe that people believed that, I think it's a mixed bag. I think yes,
No, Dre,
like,
that was not the question. Do you think these gods were real? The ones that I just mentioned. I'm not mentioning 1,000, 2,000 more gods. I'm just mentioning like 7 or 8. Do you think these
okay,
gods were real?
not as gods. No, I mean I don't know what people experienced in order to believe that those gods were real, but obviously they did. And so the question is why, and ultimately, if there were experiences that were tied to those beliefs, then what were the experiences, and were they uh, statistically near impossible experiences that further affirmed the individual's belief in a particular God? But that doesn't mean that just because there was experiential power, that power was coming from God. It could have very well been coming, and was, in my opinion, coming from, not from God, but from another direction. So whatever you want to call that, to me, spiritually, if you're not following the true God, but you're convinced that you are, well, you might be following the wrong guy.
Oh, apparently,
I'm not denying that. So go
ap-
ahead. Go ahead.
apparently, you can get people to believe in gods that are not real, and get people in the thousands to believe that a man-made god is real, because we know now that these gods are not real. So
Well,
how would anybody determine that among these gods, man-made gods, there was one that was the real one?
well, I think that's points at the dilemma that we face, right? Like in your point of view, from what I can gather, that the problems that we face on this earth are because we believe in gods,
Yes,
and that the
absolutely.
only way to move forward as a global civilization, as a species, is to completely do away with the belief in God, with any deity,
No, no, no,
right?
necessarily. No, that's not my.
Okay, okay,
That's not
okay.
my view. I think that if you believe that an invisible entity is real, I don't think it's beneficial for you. I think the problematic comes when you start saying things like, "Hey, the invisible being that I believe is real is real." That's crossing the line. And especially when someone says, because I know it's real, I want to teach it in schools. I want to get it involved in government. I want to open different churches around towns in different states and countries. That's a problem. If someone tells me, Javier, because you're asking me if I believe something, yeah, I tell you I believe in a God, but I do it in my privacy. This is a relationship between me and my God. I'm like, man, good for you. Does that make you feel
Uh-huh.
good? The person tells me yes. I'm like, man, respect.
Yeah, yeah. I totally hear where you're coming from. I would say, kind of building on that, like, humans are inherently flawed, and so anytime, no matter what structure, assuming that there is a singular um, creator, and that it's not spread over thousands of gods, assuming that there is one true God, ultimately it's like the premise of people following that true God and wanting for other people to know that true God is not wrong. But like you're saying, the spread of that throughout governmental institutions, religious governing bodies, education systems, so on and so forth, like the issue is not with God, it is with the man made structures, the human led institutions, um, because man is inherently, it's like, take greed, for example,
I think in a way, Dread, that will be kind of excusing the person, because the person is the one doing the believing, and the person is the one doing the actions of trying to get other people to believe what they believe. Some people do it by force.
Wait, excuse that you said it's excusing the person?
Yeah, it sounds to me that I don't know if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me that you are excusing the person. The person is the one doing the believing. This is nothing to do with institutions or anything like that.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, right? But the institution as a whether it's like I said, whether it's a governing body, whatever the case may be, like, for example, any government, a government isn't like a giant machine uh that has its own, it's not like a robot, right? That is not human, that thinks for itself, at least not yet. I mean, the way that everything's going, we are at a very interesting juncture in human history where now, like, obviously computers are getting to that point where they can, quote unquote, think. But aside from that, like, you take any government, any global government, like, or any world government, what I mean to say is any government around the world, they're all led by humans. So yeah, my point is still that I'm not excusing the person. I'm just saying that it looks, it is going to be corrupted because it's humans that are leading the charge in these ventures. So whatever that is, it is a very slippery slope, and one small wrong decision can be a catalyzing event for the downfall of an entire nation potentially. And it depends on whatever time frame that might be that you look at. I'm not saying that happens overnight necessarily, but one small decision leads onto another small bad decision, leads onto another bad small decision, and the next thing you know, 20 years down the road, you're in a web of darkness, essentially. And so
So
now if you multiply that across
what do you
tens of
think
millions of people,
what do you think will
yeah,
cause that to happen? Someone believing in a God or
well,
someone asking questions?
I don't think it comes down to the belief in the God necessarily. Yeah, I mean, and it depends on what God they're believing unto. Second of all, it depends on who they're listening to. So somebody can sit and profess with their mouth that they believe in a particular God, whilst at the same time behaving in a way that is not the way that I'm going to take myself for example. I'm not going to speak for anybody else in this, but I'm like, I can sit and say this is what I believe, profess it with my mouth, and then at the same time, you know, take a backdoor bribe of $100,000 here and $2 million here and 50,000. I can live in a way that is contrary to what I profess to be true and good and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of my point, is that, like, I don't think it's the believing in the God that is the inherent issue, assuming that the person is believing in the true God. Again, this goes back to the assumption that there's a one true, good,
I
righteous,
I I, I I truly believe that it contributes
merciful.
to a big problem. So, for example, why you believe in Yahweh, the God of Israel, and not in Odin or El? You know who El is?
Yeah. I've heard of El before. I guess I don't know who El
So,
is
is
to
it possible
be.
that you're worshiping the wrong God just because you didn't get the word and the information from the other God? And
No.
someone else is
In
using
your
the
eyes, yes. In your eyes, yes, it is. But it's not like I haven't gone through extreme. Like, this is, again, I can only speak for myself here, Javier. But it's not like I haven't gone through extreme. Uh, and I know everybody has, but in my own walk, I can't speak for everybody else's walk through life. I don't know what their journey has entailed. All I can speak to is my own experience, and I have gone through extreme lengths to know that truth. And so, yes, anybody can question me on whether what I believe to be the truth is truly the truth. Anybody can question me on that, certainly.
but
All I
but
know is the lengths that I've gone to discern that truth and ultimately have it be revealed to me. It was not like I was just building sandcastles, and it's not about what I did to get there either. It's about ultimately the. Go
but
ahead. Go
but
ahead.
how did you determine that Yahweh is the real God and not El, for example? How were you able to determine that if you have not researched or investigate or tried to get close or pray to El? How were you able to determine that Yahweh if you have not even tried to contact the other gods? Or make it worse, how about this God's name that you're worshiping is not even Yahweh? They put that name, that label to change from another God. They took the name and slap it on top of another God. Because apparently in these times in the areas of Israel, they were making up gods right and left for political reasons, for influence other people, for create authority, for many
Sure,
reasons.
sure, sure. Right. And I guess that's what it comes down to. It's like those aren't good reasons to create gods, right? And ultimately, so the question is the God of the Bible who the God of the Bible says he is? right? And that's what it comes down to, being the truth. Like, you know, this something has to be the truth. And
Mm,
some
what do
people
you what do
believe
you
that
mean
to
by
be
that?
nothing.
What do you mean by that?
So, meaning, if I were to trace back, we've kind of gone over this before, but like I'm happy to talk about this because I feel like this is a very important like thought exercise. If we were to trace back our day to day, to the beginning of to midnight this morning, if you were to trace back every single moment in your life, there is an exact there's an exact path, moment by moment by moment by moment, millisecond by millisecond, microsecond by microsecond, whatever the smallest measure of time might be, all the way back to that moment, to midnight. And now you can think it went one way, you can think it went another way, but ultimately there's a definitive path that you took, that I took through our day to day. Same way, if we were to trace back all the way to the beginning, the creation of the universe, there is a true path. Now, obviously, there's a lot of debate about what that is, but there's a true path that has been taken throughout. There is a true path to follow backwards if we could. Obviously, we can't, but it doesn't change the fact that it is still, just because we can't trace that path backwards doesn't mean that the path doesn't exist, right? And it doesn't mean that the path isn't true. The
But
path
Dre,
is true.
I mean, in like, try to, if you don't mind, try to make it a less, more concise explanation. How you're able to determine that this God in particular is the real one among thousands of gods that you're not even aware of.
Well,
You
that's
could
fair.
be
Yes.
worshiping the
At the end of
God.
the day, at the end of the day, this is the God that answered me at my lowest and darkest moment. This is the God that lifted me up from a place of darkness and depravity and hopelessness, and gave me new life, and gave me new hope, and gave me
But you had
a
never
new
prayed
joy
to
for life,
you
and gave me love, and
you
gave
have
me, yeah, it doesn't, but
you have never prayed to El. How do you know that El is not going to answer the same way, or a better
yeah,
way,
but I
stronger
didn't
way?
pray. I just prayed to the most. I at the end of the day, at the end of the day, again, assuming that there is a one true God, assuming that there is a higher power, an infinitely uh, intelligent, omnipotent being, um, omnipresent, and all these different omnis that they throw out, assuming that there is this being that is everything and all at once, well, certainly then that being is going to know the intention of the human heart. Assuming that he knows you, assuming that he really did, for example, plan you, assuming that he knew Javier before he planned creation, before he set it all into motion, assuming that you were on his list of intentional creations, and not only on his list, like deeply, uh, like we think we know ourselves, and we come to find out that we don't know ourselves at all. And he knows us, and he reveals to us who we really are.
Right.
And the more that he does that,
I have to interrupt you
go
because
ahead, go ahead.
you're going. I don't know if you notice. I don't. Maybe you're not doing it on purpose, but you're crossing
No,
that
I'm
line.
not doing it on purpose. So yeah, I'm definitely ADHD. So hang
Yeah,
with me on
you at
that.
this
But
point,
yeah,
I tell people. I mean, you're going into preaching when you say
preaching. Okay, sure,
the mind
sure.
of God is, and He does that.
No, these are just thought no, no, Javier, this is a thought exercise, brother. Like, I'm not telling. That's why I keep saying, assuming that this is a real being, because this is the only way to, like, in regard to, like you said, how do I know? Well, ultimately, what I did was I reached out in my being to, I reached out beyond like, so you're asking about like all these other gods. Like, I wasn't
It,
reaching out
it,
to small gods. I wasn't reaching out to like to something that was worshipped 2000 years ago. I wasn't reaching out to something that was worshipped today. I was reaching out with every fiber of my being to the truth. And that's
Okay,
what I'm getting
so
at. It's like I wasn't so
what I
ultimately, and the
what
truth
I
that
understand.
answered was Jesus Christ.
What I understand, Dre. See, I mean, I apologize. You're going into preaching
Oh,
again. That's not good for me. If you, in case
Javier,
you're
how am I?
interesting,
Tell me how that's
in
to
help
me.
me
I answered your
understand
question,
this.
bro.
But hold on. It seems to me you pray to the most popular God.
No,
So why didn't you
the
pray
most
to
popular
El?
God. What do you mean the most popular God? What does that mean?
The most current popular God is the God of the Bible and Allah.
That's not the same God.
Yeah, okay, forget about Allah. That's why I like to bring it up. For you right now, probably the most popular God is the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. Why didn't
Yeah,
you
but I
pray
don't think of like
to
I don't jump
El?
around. I don't think there's four different gods. I think there's one God. So that's the God I reach out to, and
But
that's the God that
how do
answers.
you know that you never tried to contact El or Asherah or Baal or Thor or any of these other gods? How do you know that? Are you saying that these gods are not real? Are you able to prove that? Can you prove that any of these gods are not real?
How do I? Okay, ask that question again so I can
Can you
answer it.
prove that any of these only like 7 gods out of thousands and thousands of gods, are you able to prove that none of these gods are real?
Am I able to prove that they're not real? I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, well, like no. I mean, I can't
So they
prove to you
could be
that my
real.
God is real. I can't, but I can't prove to you that I can't prove. I'm not in the business of trying to disprove them because it's doesn't. That's not
So you could be
That's not
wrong.
my approach because I don't it's like that's not my struggle. I'm not wondering if they're real or not. Like they're not a thought in my mind.
I
And
understand
so
that. So you could be wrong.
I know. No.
You could be worshiping the wrong God just because you didn't have access to information of
Well,
the real God.
I don't okay, but if that's the case, then again, I'm going to hedge my bet on the God that is the God of
Ex-
love, the
exactly.
God of
Exactly.
mercy. The no,
Exactly.
but it's not because I haven't. But that's the thing though. It's like it's not a bad. These are all good things, Javier. These are
No,
all
they're
good
not.
things, bro.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Love is good.
No,
Love is good.
no,
Love is
no, no.
good.
The love from this particular God that is the most popular God right now, it feels great to you. It's very problematic. You
What
could
do you
we
mean it
you
feels
could
great to
you
me?
could doesn't the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, feels good to you?
Not always.
We have
Like
gone over this many
it's not
times.
like it's not like it's like a it's not like it's like, oh, I'm always walking in. No, it's like I have my days where I also have to face my own struggles. I also have to face my own like when I do something wrong, when I sin, I still feel convicted. I still
Yeah,
um
but you're gonna be saved.
yeah, but it's not like in those moments of doing things wrong that I just feel like, oh, I am
Right. You are
so glad that
loved. You
I
are
mean,
loved by the most powerful being in the universe. You're gonna tell me that that feels bad? No,
that's
come
not what I
on.
said. I didn't say that. No,
Right.
I'm not saying yeah, but
I
but
have
that's
spoken to I don't know how many people and the chats on live and in personal conversations.
but I never
The
said that
one
that feels bad, Javier. I
the
never said that
one
that feels bad.
the one common denominator among all believers is their feeling. And coincidentally, they feel good about the invisible entity they believe is real.
They feel good about the invisible entity that they feel is real. Well, again, I would say that to that, yeah, a feeling is one thing, but there's also uh experiential criteria. I don't know if criteria is the right word, like evidence, but evidence isn't really a good word for it either because I can't prove that to you. So experiential circumstances, I guess, would be a good word. There's experiential circumstances that have to be taken into account in each individual believer's life
What
that
why
lends onto their
why did you have this experiential whatever thing you said with L? Why not? You never approach L.
Eldon answer. Eldon answer.
Did
Jesus
you
Christ
approach him?
answered.
Remember, we're talking
Like I
about
said,
thousands
I
of
approached if
gods.
L was the one true God, if L was the one true God, he didn't answer.
No, but you were talking to the God of Israel. Maybe the God of
No, I was
Israel
talking
was
to
the
the
one to
no, as
answer.
I said a little bit ago, I was searching out the truth. Like in my like this is again what I was saying. So if they're assuming that there's a singular creator of the universe and all things from including time, all of this, assuming that that individual being is real,
Oh,
assuming that, then they're obviously going to know if you're searching. They're going to know the human heart. They're going to know what are you searching out. Like, are you searching because of your own pride? Are you searching
were you aware of
because
the
you
God
want to
of,
be right?
were
Are you
you
searching because
aware
you want
of the God of the Bible before you found the truth?
certainly? But I've been aware of a lot of gods
Of
before I found
course
the
you
truth. It's not,
were
but it's
aware of the God of the Bible. Of course you were. That's the most popular God right now, especially in the US.
I don't necessarily agree with that because Islam is growing very fast. Like
That's
so, as
why I
far as like the
mentioned
most,
Allah too.
I understand that you mentioned, but Allah and
So
the
people are
God
coming
of
to the conclusion that these
Abraham,
two
Isaac, and
popular
Jacob
gods
is not the same
must,
God that the Muslims seek, though. That's not the same God that the Muslims worship.
I mean, from all the thousands of made up gods, people right now think that these two gods probably are the most popular gods, and that's how they
Well, and
end
I
up
think
believing this God.
as far as like human chronology, like the human timeline, the human existence, like where we are at right now in this world right now, as things are obviously very volatile, things are very uncertain, things are very uncomfortable for a lot of people, things are very difficult for a lot of people. There is great suffering all over the world. We're not yes, I understand that all these gods came and went and these were, you know, et cetera. But here we are right now. And that doesn't diminish the fact that, yes, there's still many gods that are being worshipped around the world. But at the same time, assuming that we are on a timeline, a loading bar, if you will, um, of human history, assuming that Jesus Christ is the truth, and assuming that Jesus Christ is coming back, that there will be a second coming of Christ, assuming that those things are true, then logically, when we hit a point in time on this loading bar that I'm speaking, the world will get to a point which it is very rapidly not only approaching, we're already there. It's just there's still more to be done, but it's evident in the things that are happening in the world. One being AI, for example. AI is huge in it, dude. Like but it's not only that. It's
I think
World War III,
right,
all these different things, killer machines, like ultimately like
the
developing to a point in the world where
right,
we have like robots killing people and stuff.
the main point,
That's
the
not a
main
good thing.
the main point, Dre, is that the creation and invention of these thousands of gods apparently works very well to influence people and to get them to do things that they normally will not do. Most likely, this Yahweh God from Israel that was invented and created in Israel for a purpose for their people to influence other people. And by this connection with this Jesus guy, it got to where you live. And that's how you know about this Yahweh God from Israel among the thousands of also made up gods. The only way you're able to tell the difference between one and the other God is because this one, you got the information from that God and you got a good feeling out of it. There's nothing else. There's no God. There's nothing that you can prove to anybody that this Yahweh God from Israel, which made covenants with his people, which you are not his people, you believe is real. If we're able to fool people like this, I think it's also it also works with politics and other things like scamming people. You can convince it of something that is not real and take advantage of them, like it happens every 4 years with our countries and voting system and politicians. Because
Yeah,
people don't
no,
ask
I
questions.
understand what you're
Give
saying
me,
about all those
Dre,
systems.
hold on a second, please. Give me
Yep,
just
go
one
ahead.
moment. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Um, no, and I understand as far as the corruption and all these things that you're talking about, but it's not like it's the God that I worship doesn't reward bad behavior, you know? That's the thing. It's not like and okay, so then the question is what is bad behavior? Well, that's the thing. It's like I think we all know. It's like but the fact of the matter is that that's what everybody thinks, "Oh, he rewards people for." It's like all these people, these humans get in these institutions and they do bad things. Well, God doesn't reward them for that. And the idea that he does is not true. And so then that's where you have to in your critic, not in a bad way. I'm not saying, I'm just saying like in your analytical skeptical mind, like okay, so then you have to determine, are these people being rewarded for their bad deeds? They say they follow this God. I'm telling you that they don't get rewarded for their bad deeds, not by him. Now the question is, what is being rewarded for? It's like, are earthly riches, is that a reward? Is $1 billion, is that a reward? It might be a reward in the eyes of humans, but is it truly life-giving? Is it truly everlasting? Is it truly something that stands the test of time? Is it something that outlasts the flesh when we die? Like, no, it's not. Earthly riches will perish. They'll be like leaves in the wind. It doesn't matter how much money anybody has. But that's the thing. They see, oh, these people are blessed with, they get all these money, they have all this money, so they must be favored or they must be getting rewarded for their bad deeds. It's like, well, yeah, they're getting rewarded, but they're not getting rewarded by God. They're getting rewarded by the other dude that's convincing them that I'm rich, so I must be doing things right. Even though I'm screwing people out of money, even though I'm taking backdoor bribes, even though I'm doing all these evil things, that I must be doing something right because I'm getting blessed by it. It's like everybody knows that
Right.
that's living on borrowed time. That's living
This
on borrowed
is
time.
this
So
is not this is not this that complicated. We know that
it is that
people around.
complicated though.
I don't think it is. I think many people around this world are being deceived by their lack of information. They make decisions based on lack of information,
Dude,
based
the
on
Bible literally
ignorance.
says that. My people perish because of lack of understanding, is it? I think.
So we have been doing this
No,
of
my people
take.
perish. No, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So that's the thing. You're right. Yes, that is an issue.
So
Lack of knowledge is an issue.
we have been doing this for thousands of years with this invented gods, and we continue doing it in the year
Well,
2026.
how far do you assume? That's what I'm okay. So that's the next question, Javier. Is the likelihood that we will go another 1,000 years with things that are going? No, it's like that's the question. So when I talk about the loading bar, I don't think we got another 1,000 years. I don't think we have another 100 years. But this is my belief, and
If we
so
continue to believe in
um,
gods, yeah, we're not gonna have 1,000 years more. In my point of view, Dre, belief in God, in invisible entities, promotes ignorance. And you're not going to have a good humanity moving forward
that's assuming
in
that there is
life.
no. That's assuming that there is no God, though, Javier. That's assuming there is no God, the which is humanity's longest, arguably, conundrum is what to believe and how to believe in it
Right.
and
You
how to
ignore
explain that what
you ignore information about other gods.
I don't- ignore. What do you mean I ignore information about
You
other
don't
gods?
have information in order to take decision between two or three or four of these gods. You got mostly the information from the God of Israel. I think most likely you are going to believe that that God is real.
Most likely I'm going to believe that that God is real. Well, again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier is I was reaching out to the true God. I wasn't naming, I wasn't XYZ. I was reaching out to the truth from a place of hopelessness. So
But
I wasn't in a place of trying to prove one right or one another. I was at the point of trying not to, you know, go into a very, very, very bad mindset, a very dark place. I was already in a dark place, but I was trying not to. I was just hanging on for dear life, man. There was no like, well, I'm going to try and prove this one right and prove that one right. No, I was in a place of complete lostness, and all I was doing was searching for the truth. And that's what I was reaching out to
And
God.
you found the truth to the closest God you had at hand.
But I didn't just find it through like I said, small measures. I found the truth because the truth reached out to me. It wasn't like I was searching and I was attempting to connect with it, and then the connection that it made with me was more profound than I could have possibly ever imagined it to be. And that's why I say, start fasting, try it. You don't have to Javier, you don't got to prove which one is the one. All you got to do is search the one out with your truest intention, brother, and then you will have the answer. That's what it comes down to. As long as you are seeking the truth will respond. Like, you don't have to prove, well, how do you, that's the question. It's like, how do I know that the other ones aren't the truth? Well, they didn't respond to me. The truth responded to me. And so if you're searching for the truth and assuming that God wants you to know the truth, he's going to answer that request.
So
as long as you're searching that.
So how did you pray to God? Hey, if there's a God out there, I don't know your name, I don't know who you are, but if there's a God out there, whichever name of whichever God, could you please look at me and you know, help me with my problems? Is that how you pray to whatever God?
Dude, I prayed so much. Dude, I didn't leave bed for like 15 days, dude. When I started fasting, we talked about my fast before. Like, I started fasting and I had done fast in the past. Like, I've prayed throughout times before and I've had experiences then. But then when I found my place in this deep, dark hole of hopelessness, complete and total hopelessness. When I was in that place, the reaching out that you're asking about, yes, my reaching out was not just like, God help. It involved me, again, fasting. It involved me breaking down. It involved me surrendering. It involved me crying. It involved me bawling my eyes out.
Did you pray?
It involved me pleading with, like, yeah, I mean, does it feel like you're talking to the ceiling? Sure. Sometimes it does, but at the end of the day, yeah, of course. Well, did I pray? What do you mean pray? Like, yeah, to the truth. That's what I'm saying.
Who is the truth?
Jesus Christ is the truth.
Yeah, so you were praying to Jesus, the most popular God right now.
Javier, you're not hearing me, bro. You're not hearing me. I hear what you're saying. I do understand from your perspective where you're like, none of these seem real to me, and this is just a popularity contest and all these different things. But I'm telling you, if you just try what I'm telling you to try, brother, if you just start fasting and praying, searching for the truth with your pure intentions, brother, the truth will answer you. And you will have your answer, and you will know whether it's El or whether it's Odin or whether it's XYZ, as long as you search for the true God. You don't have to name it. Just in your heart, search for the truth above all truths.
If I start fasting, okay, if I start fasting and I get feeling emotionally negatively, I get
fasting is gonna bring things to the surface for sure. That's what it's supposed to do.
But if I decide to do that, and I decide to get on my knees and pray, I'm gonna pray to the truth, which is the God of Israel.
That's what I'm telling you. Yes. But if you're in a place where you are, I'm telling you, it is the God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Jesus. It's you can tell me that it doesn't make sense, but I'm just saying, just do it. Just try it. You don't have to pray to any particular, just seek the truth. Seek the truth with your entire heart. Seek the truth with your entire heart.
The thing that happens, Dre, is that I think that us human beings, we have something innate in us. We have some capabilities that we still don't understand, and we are labeling as something that God is doing, something external of us. I think that in a way, this God, partly for made this God up to influence other people, it was also bring up to probably remove whatever power we have on us and take it outside of us and put it outside in some esoteric place outside of time, so we never find it. And now that if we need anything in this life, we have to get on our knees and fast and try to get it from this God that is sitting outside of time. But in reality, to
I'm not saying
me,
you.
it
I'm not
sounds
saying you
more
got to
like
get
it's in
on your
Israel.
knees.
No, but
I'm not saying that you got to
What
get on.
I'm telling you is that you apparently tapped into something, and because you don't have the knowledge to understand
But I'm
this.
not, no, bro. But I'm not gatekeeping it. I'm not like trying to.
No,
I'm not.
I
I'm
know, but
dude.
I'm
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 not
I'm
trying to gatekeep what I experienced. I'm trying to encourage people to do exactly what I did.
yeah, and
Exactly what I did. I'm not
I'm
trying to
trying
hide
to
any little bit of
encourage
it.
people, Dre, not to do that.
Well, that's okay. But then, Javier, like,
Because then you're gonna walk through this life dependent on an external God from Israel, where he has
dude,
his chosen people.
but that's because you've already made up in your mind that it's not the truth.
I am not in agreement to have some external source and be dependent on that source, how he wake up today.
Okay, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be in agreement with that, Javier. But at the end of the day, brother, at the end of the day, it does. Dude, Javier, I really care about you, man. Like, I'm genuinely speaking to you from a place of like, I care about you, and I'm not here to try and I'm not here to brainwash you. I'm not here to try and play mind games with you. I'm not here to manipulate you. I genuinely care about you. And I think I think the amount of dialogue that you have created here, I think it has dude, the fact that the people that you have engaging here says a lot about what you are seeking. Okay. Like, you are genuinely, I believe, after the truth. But you also have to be open to what, for example, what I'm saying right now. Like, you have to trust me if you want to trust me. You don't have to, but I would love if you did, like, to trust that I'm not trying to convince you of anything that I don't believe and have not experienced and have not met tangibly time and 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 time again. So much I can't even explain it, brother. Like, and it's like you're so close to at least just keeping an open mind about what I'm saying. And I genuinely want for you to try what I'm saying, because I think that it will genuinely change your life for the better. I think it'll take away so many questions that you have. They will be irrelevant because the answer will be indisputable. For you, other people, maybe not. Maybe then you're going to be in the same place. I believe you'd be in the same place where I'm at now, where you're like, well, this is what you believe. People be telling you the same thing. You're like, no, you just got to, this is what you got to do. And if you just do this,
I
things
tell
will
you
start to
what.
fall into place.
I tell you
Yeah.
what. I will consider it to do these things if you tell me something.
Yeah.
Javier, trust in the God of Israel.
Javier, trust in the God of Israel. Trust in Jesus Christ. Trust in Jesus Christ. I want you to trust in Jesus Christ.
Right. I'm not gonna trust a God from another. I'm not gonna trust in the God from another nation that made covenants with his people. I'm not part of his people.
If you asked me to say trust in Allah, I'd say no. And I told you even before you asked me to say, so if you told me to say something that I was not in agreement with, first of all, I would not have said it. Second of all, if you asked me to say that, so that's not even fair, because I told you, don't put a name to it and search for the truth. Search for the truth.
But what are you telling me right now about trust the God of Israel? Hold on.
You're betting all your money that I'm not. You're betting all your money that I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's not just all your money. You're betting everything on that I'm wrong. Keep at least a little bit in my favor. Keep bet hard against me if you want, but at least bet.
You haven't told me anything.
Bet that I'm not trying to manipulate you. Bet that I'm trying to actually speak to you as a brother, as a friend, as somebody that cares about you, as somebody that appreciates you, as somebody that appreciates the way that you approach these things, as somebody that appreciates it.
Even if I find the truth outside of myself in the God of Israel, that will
Okay.
create a dependence on this God of Israel, and that is not good for me. It
That's what
doesn't
you
make me. It
think. That's
doesn't
what you
make.
think. But
It doesn't
why
make
do you think
me.
that?
It doesn't make me a better human, and I'm not gonna offer anything of value to anybody else but myself.
See, because but you're thinking, okay, Javier, I hear what you're saying there, but you have to be open to the idea that things can happen, things will happen that are beyond what you could possibly imagine. Things that surpass the logic of your current disposition. Things that outstretch the possibilities of your wildest dreams. You have to put yourself in a position to say, okay, is Dre blowing smoke right now, or is he serious? And I'm saying I'm serious because when the things that I'm talking about are things that I never experienced in my first 32 years of life until I did what I did, until I surrendered, but not only just surrendered, until I completely surrendered,
Right,
but as far as
right.
until I actually put my money where my mouth was and I said, okay, all right, if you're
So
the truth,
yeah. So
lead me
Dre,
down the path. And then that's when things unfolded that were good,
there are many
that I could have done on my own.
there are many disadvantages for me believing in this God of Israel. I just mentioned one, creating dependence of the God. Also, another problem, I'm gonna separate myself from other human beings.
Okay, Javier, are you a dad?
Hold on. There's a third problem, Dre. I'm gonna
Okay,
contribute to conflict and division.
to conflict and division. Okay,
Yes.
well, we all contribute to conflict and division depending on a good moment or a bad moment in a given day, in a given moment, like a
What
given
what
moment in a
what conflict
conversation.
what conflict and division can I create by asking you questions about your belief?
I'm not talking about this right now. I'm talking about just as human beings. It's what we do. It's what we do is we create conflict. And so that's the point is that
No, Dre. No,
now
no, no, no,
I
no,
want to ask you
no.
a question real
That's
quick,
I
Javier.
don't
Yeah,
no, I don't
you don't
agree
think
with
so?
that. No, not at all.
Well, Javier, all the wars and all the murder and all the rape and all the bad things that have happened throughout history would disagree with you, brother,
Yeah,
because that's literally what humanity does to the.
because we continue to believe in gods.
That's not necessarily the case though either, because it's like many different communistic, atheistic, godless regimes have done the same deal, unspeakable atrocities. So it's not just this belief in gods that lends unto um, to genocide, for example.
We
You
have
know,
we
like,
have been living
and
with
that's
gods
arguably it's hard to argue
for
that
the
it's
past
hard to
thousands
argue
of
that that's not a
years,
bad
Dre.
thing.
We have been living with
Yeah.
this belief in God, in Yahweh, in other gods for thousands of years. It creates violence, it creates conflict, it creates separation. This is easily, you do research and you will confirm this is correct. And it keeps doing
Yeah,
it
but
today.
but it's not dependent. But violence and war and these bad things, destruction, genocide. I'm gonna go to genocide for example. Genocide is not dependent on people believing in gods or the absence thereof. It is dependent on the
Dre,
human condition,
that
which
is
is
that is a horrible example because remember the Great Flood?
the great. You're talking about the creator destroying his creation.
The God of Israel killing men, women, and children.
Listen, I'm not.
You see,
I know. I understand. I understand where you're. Yeah.
when people are killed on purpose, you don't say destroying the creation. You say killing. This is one of the other problems. I am not willing to get on my knees to this God of Israel.
Dude, people die. I don't know what to say, Javier. Like, yes, I hear
No,
what you're saying. If a
people.
gigantic, no, there is a.
Dre, listen to me, please, for a
Yeah,
second, man.
yeah, yeah. I'm listening.
You, in my point of view, just my opinion, you have to listen to me.
Yeah,
You have to
I'm
look
hearing
at
you.
yourself in the mirror and have a conversation
Uh-huh.
with yourself, my friend. Because my opinion, I could be wrong. You sold your consciousness to this God of another nation, Israel, and this is why you talk like this. You're not talking like
Okay,
a
so
human.
what's okay? So then, what's the
If you
god
allow
of
me to
what's the
finish
god of
for a
America?
moment,
Okay, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
it seems to me the way you talk, Dre, I'm not. I don't. I feel that I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to something that you learn how to speak in a different way. This is not Dre. This is some guy that learned to repeat things from a book and from other people because you have an emotional attachment to this idea and a doctrine.
Dude,
Don't trust me. Don't believe me. Don't listen to me. Okay.
no. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I appreciate that you think that
I care for you. Or like you say to me, I care for you too.
I understand. Same thing, brother. Same thing for you. Like I care for you. I care for you too. And I appreciate that you care for me. Thank you for caring for me. But in regards to like nothing I'm passionate about, I'm passionate about because other people have told me to be passionate about this. Like that's the fact of the matter is like that's my biggest conundrum is that I can't, like for the longest time I was in the position that you're in where I'm like I cannot get on board with the way that these people think because it does not make sense to me. So again, I had to figure it out for myself, and I think that is the condition that each human is supposed to be in. Nobody can it's not even about doing the work. Nobody can make somebody know what they already know, no matter what it is. And it's like, so in regard to God, like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's like, I can't make you know this, and nobody could make me know this in the same way that I can't make you know it, which is why I'm trying to tell you to try this method of fasting with intentional seeking, because I genuinely believe that it will. And I'm not saying it's gonna, you do a 3-day fast and pray. I'm not gonna say that that automatically is, I'm saying like, if you devote yourself to trying to get to the bottom of this, like if you trust that what I'm telling you is from a good place, and I'm not trying to manipulate you, I'm just telling you to do what I did.
Right. You're
And if
asking
you're
me
willing
to
to,
do, you're asking me to do something to get what in return?
the answers that you're looking for.
And then once I get those answers, how am I gonna feel about those answers?
Well, you're gonna feel an overwhelming sense of peace,
Yes.
no doubt.
Yes. Am I going to
Yes,
feel good?
and that's going to, are you gonna feel good in and of it, like good? I mean, yeah. I mean, knowing the truth
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
good.
You know,
Yeah, but that's
I'm
not
not.
the only thing. But it's not all about feeling good, Javier. It's
Right.
about, it's
It's
beyond that.
everything revolves in that one thing and one thing only. Feel good. I'm
But
not
I'm
in
not. I
a
just said that that's not only what it is. I
Correct.
just said that's
I
not only
am
what it is.
not
It's
in a
beyond that.
I am not in a negative feel state that I need
Uh-huh.
a God to make me
Sure.
feel good. When you approach this God from Israel, you were
Uh-huh.
doing it from a negative feel state, and you got something that moved you to a positive feel state. This is
Well,
what you were
again,
this is what you were looking for.
okay. So how do you, on the contrary, how do you suggest that we find the truth?
What you call truth,
Tracing back human history, and tracing
Right.
back
what
universe.
you call truth is synonymous with feel good. There's nothing else.
Sure. Yeah, I don't just like, no, I don't. The truth doesn't depend on your feelings. And that's the thing. The truth is uncomfortable. The truth is not all, it doesn't always feel good. The truth doesn't always feel good. That's the thing. It's not all feel good. And I'll tell you that right now, because the truth is hard. The truth is difficult. The truth is scary.
Dre, what
Like,
part of being saved or eternal torment doesn't feel good to you?
because, dude, that's not, I'm just trying to get through today most days, dude. I'm not thinking about eternal torment as my reason for believing in God, brother.
How do
I'm
you
genuine.
feel about getting these prizes and things from the most powerful being in the universe?
Prizes?
Whatever you got from him.
Prizes?
Yes.
What do you mean prizes?
Present prizes. Didn't you get the Holy Spirit? Didn't you get something that felt good to you? Didn't you get peace? Didn't you get guidance? Didn't you get meaning in your life?
Well,
All
yes,
these
certainly,
things are.
but
Which
those
one? Which
things
one
are there
felt?
to strengthen you.
Which one felt bad?
Those things are there to strengthen, to give you strength, to
Which one
increase your.
felt? Right, which one felt bad?
It's not, Javier. It's not that those things feel bad. What it is that those things God uses those things to strengthen you, to build you up, to give you faith. But then you have to also, it doesn't all of a sudden, and it doesn't all of a sudden fix, it doesn't, it doesn't all of a sudden like create a permanent mindset that that is impenetrable. Yes, it is. That is the place that he wants to lead us to, is to this point of our mind becoming fortified in a sense that we are not fearful and that we are at peace and that we are fully embodying love to other people and that we do not have hate in our hearts and all these things. Yes, his goal is to get us to that point, but that doesn't happen overnight across the board. It doesn't, I don't go from being, a broken sinner one day to being completely, uh, you know, to Jesus Christ the next day. Yes, he dwells within you, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have my struggles and shortcomings and all these other things that come with that. And so, no, it doesn't feel good all the time because he uses those things to strengthen you. But then, and you know it when you experience it because you're like, oh my gosh, I have never experienced this before. This not like, it's not like something that's like, I'm having a good day, whatever. You can think back to a really good summer memory that you have and it, or whatever from a long time ago. That was a good day, it was a good memory. It's fleeting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is something different. This is something permanent, and you know that it's something permanent. Now, permanent in regard to beyond the uh understanding of time and everything else.
Dre,
That's what I'm saying.
Dre,
Outside of physical creation.
let me explain it to you in a very easy way. Okay?
Sure.
Maybe you understand it this way. If I
Yeah.
get on my knees or if I approach the God of Israel and I get this love from the God of Israel, I'm gonna feel like a shit.
You're gonna feel like you should?
Like no, I'm gonna feel like shit.
Like
Crap.
SHIT?
Crap.
Crap.
Caca.
Okay, yeah,
Poo
yeah,
poo.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Caca.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. What yeah. What why wait, you what say that
Yes,
question again
I'm
or say that
gonna,
statement again.
if I get on my knees and God in a sincere heart and I approach God and God embrace me and give me all his love, I think the way I am and the way I think, the way I was made, I'm gonna feel horrible. I'm gonna
No, that's
feel
because
so horrible. Do you know why?
yeah, because that's exactly how the devil wants you to feel is like don't
No,
approach God.
no, no,
Yep.
no,
Yep.
no,
No
no,
joke.
no. You see,
Yes.
Dre, this is what you just said is out of ignorance. I'm gonna demonstrate it to you right now.
Dude, I've been through the same
No,
thing,
no,
brother. It's
no,
not like I
no,
don't go through
no,
that. I
no.
still
Hold
go through
on.
that some days
Hold
where it's
on,
like
Dre.
I don't want
Hold
to
on.
pray. I don't want to reach
Hold
out to God
on.
because I feel like
Hold
he's gonna
on.
punish me.
If I get on my knees and I tell the Lord of Israel, bless me with your love, and I get it, I'm gonna feel bad, my friend.
Why are you gonna feel bad?
Because thousands of people pray for their children when they were buried alive, and God never came. And now look at me. Give me a new heart. Make me feel good, God. No, I cannot do that. I cannot give my back to humanity just to get on my knees to a God from a country. I cannot do it, my friend. This is
Okay.
not, listen please, Dred, this is not honesty. This is not decent for other human beings. This is disrespectful, my friend.
So you're wrestling essentially with the evil of the world, the uh, suffering of the world, all of those things, right? Obviously, Javier.
I'm here. Did you ask me something?
No, I did ask you. Yeah, man. I understand. I understand that That
It's very hard for you, Dre, to understand that there are actually human beings that don't want to be safe. They want other
no.
people to be safe in real life. People to get
Well,
back to
that's the
their,
thing, and
for children to get back to their parents, for people
yeah.
to get back to their families. They're not involved in getting on their knees and getting a feel good from some God from another country. It's very hard for a believer to understand this. I don't want to be safe. I don't want to get the love of God. I don't want to feel good. I don't want a new heart. I don't want some invisible entity from Israel to help me with my addictions or with my sexuality or with my smoking. No, my friend. Before that happens, please, God of Israel, go to a hospital and heal all these children first. Once your Lord Dread does that, please come back to me and show me the pictures and the videos of all those children getting healed. But don't tell me about you feeling good and better with some entity from another country.
But it's not just about me feeling good and better. That's what I'm saying, Javier. That's such a that's those moments are encouraging and they build me up, but it's not something that is a daily all day feeling. Like, no, it's not. And that depends on me to go when I drive down the road and I see a homeless person sitting on the sidewalk with everybody driving past them. It depends on me uh being willing to do whatever it is in that moment that that person needs based on faith. If everybody else says don't give that person $10, they're just gonna go spend it on booze. Well, you know what? If something in me tells me to give them $10 or whatever the case, then I have to trust instead of those voices in my head saying, dude, they're just gonna spend it on booze. I have to silence those things and say, I don't know what that person's struggle is. I don't know what that person's story is. I don't know what that person's needs are. But I know that they're hurting and I know that they're suffering and I know that they need help. And I know that they probably don't have a lot of love and they probably don't have too many people stop and ask them what their name is on a daily basis. Something like that. Like that's where he has worked a great work in me is my desire and ability to step into those situations which I think lends onto what you're talking about. Like you want to see the world be a better place, dude. And I think that there is like I mean, I think that the way that you are wrestling with this, I would say that you have, and I'm not saying that you don't do, I don't, I don't know you, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, I think that what your desire is to see the world become, I think you are going to be a pivotal part in that, no doubt. And I don't think it's going to come through you denying God. I think it is going to come from Him transforming your life, and you will step into these situations that you are wrestling with in your own mind. You're like, this does not make sense. This is not fair. This is wrong. This is bad. I hate that these people are suffering in the world. And that tells me, dude, that that you have a great calling to go and minister to those situations. I'm not saying that you go and preach. I'm not saying that you go and do this. I'm saying that you go and minister to the needs of those people in those situations. Like that you go and bring, if there's a child in the hospital that's dying, that you feel called and that you answer that call to go, that you have the courage to go into that place and do what to minister to that moment, whether it's just bringing peace into that room of a dying family member, something like that. Like there's so many different things that are happening, as and I understand, like, dude, it's like I obviously don't understand all of the suffering of humanity, no doubt, but like through my career and through my life too, like through my experiences, I've experienced, difficulties, no doubt, and a lot of suffering in my life. But at the end of the day, through my job, I've seen a lot of suffering. I've seen a lot of people dying. I've seen a lot of people take their last breath. I've had to tell family members that their family member upstairs that was just having CPR done on them is dead, that they're not going to come back. I've had to do that with people, and that's not like me tapping myself on the back saying, hey, good job, buddy. It's me saying, can you hear me? Am I cutting out?
No, we hear perfectly.
Yeah. So it's it's those situations like, dude, I know what you're talking about, and my heart breaks for those people too. Like, and I understand, like, you're like, well, why doesn't God just put an end to it? And it's like, yeah, I mean, these are questions that the more that I have, and this is where this is going to be the juncture that we're going to likely disagree at. But it's like, this is where it's like, I have come to realize that, yeah, like, why doesn't God just snap his finger and put an end to it? Why doesn't this? Why doesn't that? It's like, those are answers that I have not been blessed with, man. Like, I don't have the answers to those questions, but I do know that he is good, and I do know that he is loving, and I do know that he wants to work that thing that you're talking about right now. These major wrestlings that and they're legitimate questions that you have. And I know that he wants to use those wrestlings that you have in your heart to do something miraculous in other people's lives. Like, so the things that and that's what I'm talking about him doing something beyond your wildest dreams, because he wants to use you to solve and it's not like you're not going to just go out there and solve the world's issues, but you're going to help people individually, one person at a time. And
I
that
don't
is what
know.
he wants to use you to do.
Maybe Dre, but
Seriously.
I don't think I'll be working for the God of Israel anytime soon. Thank you, Javier Soto, so much for the Husky 800 joules. Appreciate it. Dre, I don't know, man. Thank
Javier.
you so much for your words. Thank you for the
Yeah, bro.
conversation, man.
Hey, Javier, it's good to chat with you, man. It's been a while. Thanks for listening, dude. And I really do appreciate you, man. And I appreciate you giving us this platform to be able to talk back and forth. And I know sometimes we disagree, and I know I trail off on different stories, but yeah, man. Thanks for giving me a chance to chat. And
right. Thanks to you, Dre. I appreciate it too. Thank you.
yeah, brother. Yeah.
That was Dre, man. What an interesting conversation. Dre have called before. We always engage in nice conversations. Disagree pretty much on everything, but proof that people can still have conversations and disagree at the same time. Let's read some of these messages from the chat. I know people are engaging in this or other conversations. Let me make sure I get the microphone close to my mouth. Diva, don't play. Atheism is so bankrupt. Seems to me the God of Israel is not going bankrupt anytime, as long as the US helps. Verse 98, didn't you just say your parents could protect you from evil things happening to you, but don't God dare take care of evil beings? I don't know, maybe that's from someone else's comment. And some of these comments and conversations. Amos 1 writes, when we started societies and civilizations before the blood, God got raised up by Raman's sword. Apparently, this was something to do with the culture at those times. People were creating gods right and left. There are thousands of gods, but this one, Yahweh, the God of Israel, is the real one. How do we know? I know because I know. I get a feeling that this is the right one. If I don't play right, where do rights come from? Only from our individual minds? I think rights, the word rights is something that we agree as human beings. It's a word that we created. I don't think anybody intrinsically, I think is the word, has any rights. They're not God giving rights to anybody. Amos 1, from us creating society and people started making rules about what you could do in these gatherings. People wanting to control other people. That way, if I control someone else, I don't have to do the work, get them to do the work for me. I can influence them and get them to do things for me if I can create a God. So apparently the God of Israel is getting people all over the world to do things for them. Look at Ted Cruz. He's a believer in the God of Israel. It's like, this is my Lord and he commands me to protect Israel. If I don't play rights, or it's asking who decides ultimately rights. The government, the military powerful, or just majority vote? Which one? I think as society we decided that in order to live in harmony, we should have some rights. Probably the right to live. Amos 1, in our country we vote in local elections and federal. They both make the laws. If I don't play with either case, they don't actually truly exist. It's just a totally subjective. I flip through some of these scenes from the presentation at the beginning. Amos 1 writes, Diva, you don't know what subjective means. Getting yours from God's mind. If I don't play, is asking, so when the Supreme Court in the 1800s all agree black people are only 3/5 a person, that was correct then, right? I don't think it was beneficial for humanity to be treating people like that. Amos 1, Diva is the Supreme Court who decides what the law from the Constitution is intending. Verse 98. Deleting messages. Amos 1, not to mention those guys would be Christians that set that law. Verse 98, where do we get most of our laws? From people that we give our power and we quit our power and we give it to a small group of people, and those are the ones that make the laws. If I don't play, so it's asking, so that was cool? I don't think it was cool. Amos 1, only one branch interprets the law in those two. If I don't play, atheism is so bankrupt. I don't know what that mean. I didn't know that atheism was a company that was going bankrupt. I think that there are atheists that are not interested in engaging in conversations. Probably they close their mind. That's why I don't call myself an atheist. Not interested. I'm a person that likes to understand things, likes to ask questions, likes to engage in conversations. I'm not trying to throw my God in anybody's face and convince them to believe what I believe. I don't believe the God of Israel is any real God. From these thousands of made up gods, this one is also made up. Amos 1, Diva, you don't know one of those two are only allowed to interpret the law? Through history, humans have worshipped thousands of gods. What makes Yahweh different? Yahweh, the God of Israel, the most popular God. This is the one that you got the information from, and you're like, man, this is the one. I don't know anything about El. I don't know anything about Zeus. I don't know anything about Baal, Asherah, Odin, Marduk. You believe that the God that you were presented with, the most popular God from Israel, is the real God. What a coincidence. But you have never researched or tried to pray to or worship any of the other gods. Maybe they respond, and maybe they are not as violent as the God from Israel. It is absolutely clear to me that belief that this Yahweh, God from Israel, is not real, man-made, just like the other thousands of gods that were created at those times to influence other people, to get them to do things that they normally will not do. Verse 98 is asking, who has the most followers and why do you suppose that is? Verse 98, at the time of people were believing in all these thousands of gods, and people still today believe in other, I don't know, probably 20, 40, hundreds of gods. That is proof that you could be worshiping the wrong God, just like anybody else. There's nothing special about your belief in the God of Israel. I actually think that just by the name, it sounds like this is not your God. This is the God from a small group of people where you're not included. Whatever happens in this earth, He's going to save His people, not you. You're not part of their special group. He made a covenant with His people. What historical or philosophical reason should convince someone that Yahweh is fundamentally different from every other God humans have worship? Amos 1 writes, if you mean Christianity, it was brought up to power by the Roman sword. So how was anybody able to differentiate among the thousands of fake made-up gods, come to the conclusion that Yahweh, the God of Israel, is the real God? Verse 98 says, Javier, the New Testament says otherwise. Verse 98, the book, the other part of the book that was attached to the old book, says that the God of Israel is the real God. And because it says it on a book, you believe it. That seems to me not a very accurate or trustworthy way to come to the conclusion that one of these invisible beings is real. Out of Babylon writes, he's not different. He is probably referring to the God of Israel. So someone asking about Chulum is not on the list. I did mention Chulum. Chulum probably is a made up god, probably is not. In my point of view, is the creator of the universe. How can we determine if Chulum or the God of Israel or any of these other thousands of gods, which one is the real one? Verse 98 writes, correct, Javier, then the Jews rejected Jesus Christ as the Messiah and Gentiles God crafted in. Verse 98, this is a very complicated matter. Political, wars, lands, fight over lands, and you got involved in this politics, in these wars from other countries. So, the God of Israel asks you. Brent A writes, Chulum cares not. Out of Babylon, Chulum is the same as Yahweh. I don't think so. Not at all. Chulum is not involved in making covenants with some small group of people from one nation. So, not the same. Tonight we're doing only 2 hours live stream, so we're ended up in 10 more minutes. I was almost not able to do a live stream tonight. Last moment I was able to, but just for 2 hours. In case you don't know it, there's a huge list of gods, made up gods. This is something that was in the culture in some of these areas. And some recycled gods were used to make other gods. Maybe we can get two gods together to make it more powerful and influence our enemies. Maybe we can come up with the god of thunder. And that way, when we hear thunder, you're going to think that the gods are with us. Brent A, only 10 more. Bummer, YouTube didn't give me a notification. Yes. Tonight, only 2 hours, 2 hours. Out of Babylon, yes, imaginary, nothing outside of us. Those comments out of Babylon, nothing outside of us. Some of your comments refer back to us. Some other comments refer to the God of the Bible. Don't get it. So whatever happened to Ra, the god of the sun? What happened to Zeus, god of the sky? And all the way down on the made-up gods, Yahweh, the God of Israel. What a coincidence. Verse 98, oh, why only 2 hours? Yes. Because I have other reasons why. I gotta work. Unfortunately, I have to work. Otherwise, we'll be making 3 hours. But tonight, I have to get back to work. So I gotta finish some work for tomorrow early in the morning. Out of Babylon cannot be wrong. All gods outside of us are imaginary. Never seen them. I see us. Interesting comment. Interesting comment. So out of Babylon, you think the God of Israel is made up? Verse 98 writes, yeah, they didn't last because they were false gods. But you know her, saying 98, that the one from Israel is the real one. From all the made-up gods, the most popular one has to be the real one. Maybe in the USA, they're like, man, what is a God? What is a God? And some guy is like, look, I have a book. God. The guy was like, man, I'm going to sell a lot of Bibles. Woohoo! In the United States, they have no gods of themselves. So the God of Israel. I think probably the government of Israel is very happy from people in the United States believing in their God. Out of Babylon writes, the God of Israel is real when thought in truth, but the world doesn't know. Out of Babylon, so the God of Israel is not imaginary then. Verse 98, the one who lasted from beginning to the end. That's what they all say. Why you didn't pray to Zeus or Thor or Baal or Asherah or El or Odin or Marduk or any of the other thousands of gods? Some guy that was saying that he was God. Some people wrote about him and they're like, you know what? Let's attach this information to the other book and let's see how it goes. Because then the story is not going to make sense if we only talk about Jesus. There has to be some other invisible entity. Completely made up. Absolutely made up. Nothing in this information is real. So we have to get back to the conversation about us human beings and how are we able to do these magic things about influence things about us. You know, like getting data in our heads, bringing this information to reality by the power of our feelings. There's so much investigation to do, so much researching, and the beliefs in these invisible gods, in invisible beings, made up gods, are blocking us from getting more understanding. Verse 98, yes, Javier, in your mind, God is made up. Verse 98, in your mind, God is real. But it makes sense that it's in your mind that is real because nowhere else you can see a God. Any of these thousands of gods, made up gods. We got to talk about how are we able to produce the things that we do. But the beliefs in God are blocking those conversations. We got to move on as humanity. help other people, not just try to help ourselves, make ourselves feel better through the power of some invisible God. Out of Babylon writes, Israel means firstborn. The spiritual you is Israel that came before the clear waters we see now on screen. I thought that Israel meant problems with God or something like that. That's some other meanings. I never heard of firstborn, but it might be correct. But I don't feel good anybody calling me my spiritual part or first one Israel. I'll be accepting someone else's definitions. Out of Babylon writes, you are a marriage of flesh and spirit, the living soul being your physical representation. You know, out of Babylon, that means nothing to me. I don't think there's anything of value in there. I think there's something chemical, electrical, something happening to us human beings. And these conversations are being delayed because people try to take the conversation outside of ourselves and take it very, very far away into some invisible entity. You know, it's understandable to me that some people that want power would not want for people to engage in this type of conversation. Imagine in the times of COVID-19, some people with money were trying to take away some ways to get people better because they wanted to implement the COVID-19 vaccine. So they were trying to take away information so you could take the wrong decisions. Imagine about life. Of course, there's gonna be people very happy for you not to know the truth about life. They want you to know the truth about the God of Israel. Imagine yourself, her saying 98. That's how far you're gonna get into this life. As far as you're gonna get is as far as the God of Israel is. Someone else that created this God, that's as far as you're gonna go in this life. Limited information from someone in Israel. That's not very encouraging. Oh, 2 more minutes and we're out of here for tonight. First time ever. After I started doing 3 hours. 2 hours. Gotta do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna be paying the price tomorrow with lots of work. I try to do many things. I'm trying to get my freedom back. Because of my ignorance, I put myself in my own hell. I'm trying to fix things. And all those years I was believing in invisible entities of force dragged me back in time, man. Probably I will be able to be free right now, or more free, have more freedom to spend with my family. Look at me working all the time, trying to correct things that I did with lack of information. Ignorant. I'm paying the price right now. And as humanity, we are paying the price right now because of our ignorance. And the only way we can go back to being knowledgeable is by asking questions. How did you come up with the conclusion that the God of Israel, named Yahweh, among these thousands of gods, is the one that is real? Most likely is also made up. And once we understand that, I think we're going to be liberated. And to continue expanding and understanding, probably we're going to gain knowledge about ourselves. How did we get here? What's going to happen to us after we die? You know, we're going to probably answer so many questions. But right now, everything is explained with the God of Israel. All right, it's been 2 hours. Unfortunately, I have to end this live stream at 2 hours tonight, but not without thanking you first for taking of your precious time to be on this live stream and engage in these important conversations. I think that not by myself, but together, we're gonna get this place to a better position, better place to live, way better place to live. And if you want to continue believing in God, you can do it in the comfort of your home, your room, but not in any public place like government buildings or schools and nothing like that. You can continue believing in your God. Just keep it to yourself. Don't be trying to convince other people to believe what you believe. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow night again with another topic.